So let's talk about some of the basics of BGP and route reflector in BGP. Okay, what it will do. So again, let's start with the basics. Like, what is BGP? Why we use BGP protocol?
Like when we have to communicate between two different AS.
It is the one of the reason, and we can manipulate the incoming and outgoing path by attribute of BGPs. And one of them, IGP protocol is designed for a thousand of prefix it can handle, but BGP can handle lakhs of prefix in his routing table. And BGP deployed or implemented in the depend on the customer type. Means it is multi-home, single link, or dual multi-home, or between 2 or 3 service provider, or in enterprise network we can use BGP.
And why we, okay, so that's okay. When you will have multiple service provider, you want to communicate, right? And you want to play with the path attributes, you're gonna have a BGP. Okay, now BGP is having two flavors. What are those?
IBGP and EBGP.
Okay. So when we are already having our IGP protocols, what is the need of IBGP?
Yeah, in IBGP protocol, it is as a flavor of a BGP. Means it is not a defined protocol. So in IBGP we can also manipulate the traffic or best path by BGP attribute.
Like
But
if,
why
like
need
if,
it?
Like if we already have a BGP in our network, so like if we have to communicate between two different AIS, then we will have EBGP. But within AIS we can communicate through this IBGP.
But again, within the AS, I have the IGP protocols. Then why I need this IBGP?
Yeah, so if
Yes,
in IGP protocol don't handle the lakhs of prefix, but BGP means it is IBGP or EBGP can handle the lakhs of prefix in his routing table. It is the one
like
of the
yes, actually BGP is a very vast protocol. So like if we will talk about like MPBGP, so if we will like implement L3 VPN, right? So in that case, like if it is within AS, like within the same AS, we will configure. So IBGP in that case will help us.
So that will, yeah, that is one of the use case. Okay. Otherwise, prefix IGP can also handle the prefix. Okay. Normally, enterprises, companies not run IBGP if they are not the customers, like if they are not the service providers.
Exactly.
Okay. So IBGP is needed in some of the special cases like your MPLS, L3 VPN peerings and all that stuff. Okay. But anyways, you guys know the basic concept, like BGP running within the same AS. Okay. And between AS. Okay. What else is the difference between these two?
Like for EBGP pairing for
And by the
different,
way,
like
guys, this is a demo class. Okay. That's why it's like only on the top of layer I am doing it. Otherwise, I first start with what is on over top of it, what BGP runs over which it. Okay. Which we're gonna go in very depth in our normal classes. Okay. When we start with the course. Yeah. Someone was saying, what is the difference between IBGP and EBGP?
like like IBGP, like same we can use for different MPLS applications like L2 VPN, L3 VPNs, like L3 VPNs particular.
Okay, so that is okay, but what is the what are the other differences if we talk about?
Administrative distance.
in IBGP protocol, the neighbor router, IBGP neighbor router can't share the prefix if they receive the prefix from IBGP neighbor, but EBGP share. And IBGP never don't modify the next hop IP next hop, but EBGP modify it.
If EBGP modified it, then why we use the next hop self command?
Next of cell command, we can configure only the in edge router. It's not
So that is a
run.
eBgp neighbor. Your edge router is eBgp neighbor. Okay. Anyways, in terms of connectivity, if we talk about Ibgp and Ebgp, Ibgp neighbors need to be directly connected or not directly connected?
No, it is not necessary. It is not necessary to be directly connected. But for
Okay.
for eBgp, it must be directly connected.
Not necessary. Okay. To be directly connected. Here, what you said? Necessary.
Yeah, it is a must. For eBgp, it is must to
I think
physically connectivity.
it is also not must because if we can configure the multi-hop or we can disable the connected check rules, then we can configure the entitled neighborship in eBgp also.
So they also need not to be
Okay.
directly connected. Okay.
IBGP
Although
should be fully mesh.
so eBgp has no requirement of fully mesh. Okay. Do not confuse yourself. Okay. What in terms of AD? AD value?
200 and
AD value in
20 for EBGP.
Okay. What is in case of TTL?
It will be the
1 for EBGP and 255, I think, for IBGP.
So that is the reason why we need a multi-hop command. Okay, if you want to,
Exactly.
if you want to have a non-directly connected neighborship, you need to have a multi-hop command. Okay. Okay, guys. So now let's move on to a BGP split horizon rule. So there is one rule. First of all, why we use this rule?
To avoid the loop.
Which loop? In EBGP or IBGP?
In IBGP.
Okay, so IBGP loop avoidance. And what does rule say?
Like it will not advertise the route information back to the router from where it will get, or also it will not send it to the next router.
So that route should be available via either via IGP or
no, it will not forward the route information to the next router, I think.
What is next router?
Like for example, if we will have ABC router, so router B will receive the advertisement from the router A, but it will not forward to the router C.
Yeah, but that router is IBGP neighbor or EBGP. Okay, so Rizwan said in the chat that IBGP neighbor. Okay, guys, I'm also seeing the chats. Okay, so those who are answering on chat, I'm also watching that. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm talking about IBGP.
Okay, so routes, and what route it not gonna forward?
The routes that it will receive from the previous router A.
Now, what is previous router?
If
IBGP or
IBGP
EBGP?
neighbor receive the prefixes or network information from IBGP neighbor, then it not forward or sends the same to another IBGP neighbor.
So again, guys, now let's see. This is R1, this is R2, this is R3, this is R4. Okay, so these boxes represents your AS boundaries. I'm not gonna write the AS number. Let's assume that they are part of different AS. Okay. So now tell me, Now let's draw one more here, R5. Okay, and this R5 will connect it here. So
right now, right now, actually, I'm sure about like it is working with Ibgp, and I'm little bit it not in my mind like about
okay,
different
so
things.
routes learn, let me write it. Routes learn through Ibgp neighbor.
Okay, okay.
Will not be advertised to another IBGP neighbor.
Will not be advertised to another Ibgp neighbor. Okay, so again, read the statement carefully. Okay,
Exactly.
so route learns via Ibgp neighbor can be advertised to Ebgp. Okay, and if any route you are learning it via Ebgp, that you can advertise to Ibgp. You're
Sorry,
getting my
can you
point?
can you repeat this? The routes learned from Ebgp?
So if you are learning a route from Ebgp, you can advertise it, right?
Okay.
So now what does this rule do? Because of this rule now, you will have a issue. Not exactly the issue, but it is our loop avoidance rule. Okay, I hope you guys understand how it's gonna create a loops,
Yes.
right? So I'm not gonna go in depth. So what is now gonna happen is because of this, you need to have a full mesh IBGP peering. What does it mean? Whatever routers you are having in your AS, you need to connect them all together with the IBGP peering,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So now, for example, if I'm having these four routers which are there in my same AS and I'm doing IBGP, then I need to connect all of them, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, your R1 routes will not reach till R4 if middle connection is not there.
Right.
Because R2 will not send the R1 routes to R4. R3 also not gonna send it. So R1 route will not have it to R4. So is there any problem with this full mesh?
Yes, they will have lots of neighbors. Routing table will be increased, and there will be we have to get actually for this IBGP we have to give all the commands manually. So like if we are having so many routers, so like we have like 1,000 routes, so we have to give like hundreds of commands for IBGP pairing.
So let me disable this annotation because some people wants to draw. Okay.
So
Yeah. So one is manual configuration you need to do.
Yeah.
What else?
If you do full mesh, I think the statement what we wrote in the other page, that is wrong, right? It requires one-to-one connectivity, right? For IBGP.
So one-to-one connectivity means?
It should be fully meshed. I think on the first page we wrote like, okay, only for EBGP there should be directly connected peers.
Okay. So let me remove this. Okay. And now this is my IBGP peering. This is my IBGP peering between R2, R4. This is my IBGP peering between R3, R4. This is my IBGP peering between R1, R4, R3. Now I will create virtual peering of IBGP. I don't need a physical connectivity.
Yes.
I can do the virtual peering like this, one peering, and this. How can we do this virtual peering?
Through command.
I think I know.
That is, I know to command, but how this is gonna be enabled? Why this is gonna be work?
Yeah, there should be reachability between the peer IPs.
So how your R4,
I,
how you will have the reachability between
I
R1 and
think
R4?
via
We have to IGV, yes.
yeah,
Okay, so you are running one IGP protocol,
Yes.
right? Whether OSPF or whatever you want to run. So no. Okay, so it doesn't need your IBGP peering doesn't need a physical direct connectivity. Okay, it can
Yes.
form a peering between n number of devices unless until you will have a connectivity between them.
Yes.
Okay, so now, so one thing is a lot of configuration you need to do. What is the other issue?
so every update, since we have multiple peers, so if there is a change in routing table or any addition deletion of any route, it should be populated to all the routers.
Mm-hmm. So what does that issue? How that is the issue for us?
I mean, again
It will.
the BGP table and the route calculation should happen.
So again,
Yeah.
every peering is going to increase the load as well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
It
right?
will.
Your
process.
processes and increases the load,
Yeah. It will slow down the network.
right? So we should avoid the IBGP peering. Okay. So now if we want to avoid this IBGP full mesh peering, we have two options. Okay.
Yes.
What are those two options?
One is route reflector, other is confederation, something.
Yeah. So one is route reflector and another one is confederation. Okay. So we're going to talk about route reflector today. Okay. So what do you understand by route reflectors? So first of all, route reflectors are used in case of your to reduce. So this is the main reason, okay, of using the route reflector, that it's gonna reduce your full mesh peering. Okay. And by the way, your route reflector is gonna modify this split horizon rule. How? So what is gonna happen is you will select one router as your route reflector. Okay, so let's assume that we are not needed a redundancy. Okay, if we need redundancy, we can go over a point where we need two route reflectors or three route reflectors. Okay, so again, let's assume right now we don't need redundancy. Okay, we are happy with our one route reflector. So then all other routers, they're gonna be connected. Okay, although they are connected with each other as well, but your IBGP peering is gonna be happen with route reflector. So now if anyone wants to send its update, okay, for example, there is one network here and R2 wants to send an update, or R4 having one network here, or R3 is having a network here. They're gonna send the update to route reflector, okay, about its network. And then it's route reflector responsibility to send that update to others. Okay, now what is this update? This is a IBGP update, right? You are
Yes.
learning a network via IBGP and you are sending it to the IBGP neighbor. So first of all, guys, always understand when you are running with the route reflector, you are modifying your split horizon rule at a first place. Okay. Because we don't have the IBGP neighborship between R2 and R3, that's why your loop is not going to happen. Okay. So route reflector will make that thing for you. Okay.
Yes.
Now, yeah.
I have one question. Like actually, if it will be make create peer between like R2 and R1, right? So like if R2 want to communicate with R3, so it will go via R1, right?
So again, that is what I'm coming on a point. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So now, before coming on that point, let's understand that you are having one more, which is outside of your AS. Okay. So again, this is your AS boundary, and this is your eBGP neighbor. Okay. And I am having one more router, which is not the client of my route reflector. Okay. So this is non-client. So this is not my route reflector. So again, whatever devices you see here, which you will make as a, so these are your clients of your route reflector. Okay. Your R1 is a route reflector, and R2, R3, R4 are the clients of your route reflector. Okay. And R5 is not a client. So if I learn any update from my eBGP neighbor, okay, like here 4444, if I learn that network, my route reflector is going to advertise that to my clients, my non-clients both. Okay. No matter whether it is a client or not client. Okay.
WhatsApp message forward. WhatsApp message forward.
Guys, those who are not speaking, put your mic on mute. Thank you. If you get a update from your route reflector client, it is going to be sent to route reflector client, your eBGP and non-client. But if you get any update from your non-client, then that update is going to go to your eBGP neighbor and route reflector client. But if you have any other non-client, that update will not go to there. Okay. So that is some rule. Okay. Now you can create multiple route reflector to provide redundancy.
I have a question. What is the purpose of non-client?
So I don't want that particular device to be my route reflector client. Means like it is a normal peering, not the route reflector peering. So there are some advanced scenario. We're going to discuss that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have one query regarding if you received a route from the R4 advertising route on R1, okay, the R1 route should be propagated to R2 and R3 and R4
Yes.
without next of self.
So eBGP neighbor, if you get a route from any of your eBGP neighbor, whether you are in the route reflector or whether you are not in the route reflector, what is going to happen? Tell me.
No, it's required next of self, I think.
Yeah, so it requires your next stop self, right?
Yeah, in the R1.
Yeah. So that is needed. If R3 or any of your IGP wants to send the traffic to R4 because they don't know about the connection between that.
Yeah, if it will show for the incomplete.
Right. Okay. And same is the case for IBGP as well. Now, because of this, this is what your updates are going. Okay. So updates means your traffic, your control plane is building with the route reflector. Okay. But your actual data plane can go without route reflector if it is having a path. So if I want to send traffic to R3 from R2 to R3 and I'm having an update, it can go directly via OSPF. So again, this, if you're not able to digest, we need to, I will show you that in lab. What is going to happen for the next stop self and how the next hop is going to be there for this. Okay, but the main purpose here is your data plane traffic will go directly between your clients if they are having a path. If they don't have the path, then there is no option, but they need to go via route reflector, right? But if they are having a direct path, they can go with that as well. Okay. So this is some of the basics of route reflector, okay, which you have. Again, we are having a lot of
Excuse
other
me, sir.
details there. Yeah.
Sorry, the direct path mean like physical connectivity between R2 and R3?
Yes.
Okay, if there is
So
no
you
any
are running
physical
a,
connectivity, yeah, if there no physical connectivity, so every time
so
it will
then,
go from R1.
yeah, because again, this is not a wireless communication, so packet will not go in air. Okay.
Exactly, sir. Right. Sir.
They are going over a wire. Okay. Okay. So this is the basics.
I have one query regarding here.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, in the IBGP, it is in a the separate routing table will maintain each and every router, right?
Separate routing table means.
Means in the routing, maybe in the BGP having a separate routing table, and as well as separate means show IP BGP summary, it will maintain for the BGP. Okay, BGP routing protocol. In IBGP, maybe if you run with the EIGRP or OSPF, it's maintain the separate database table and these things, right? How the path will be select the IBGP or BGP?
So again,
IGRP and this IBGP.
Through IGP, I think.
No, I'm not getting your question actually.
No, on the each router having two, right? In the best route will be injected into the routing table, right?
So best route, yeah. If you want to know the best route selection, then there is a complete list out of it, which we need to see. Okay. And that list is gonna be it's gonna be a tiebreaker for your different. Then we're gonna talk about the metrics like local preference, MED, and all that stuff. So again, before talking about that, I need to tell you about the metrics and all that stuff, okay, which we not right now cannot tell you in just 30 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
So this is again, guys, that's just the basic. We are having a lot of other things as well, like originator ID, cluster ID, and all that stuff, which we're gonna talk about when we do the course. Let me tell you quickly about configuration as well. How configuration is gonna break your full mesh requirement. So let's take a topology of same. Okay. So now again, this topology, I need to have a full mesh requirement. So this is my main AS over which they are part of. Okay. Now, if I do the configuration, what does configuration mean? Do anyone know?
Like it will different segments like of routers or different AS, something like.
Splitting of a larger AS into smaller AS, like private AS.
Okay, so what is gonna do? It gonna breaks your main AS into sub AS. Okay, and there is no limit. You can do however you like. Okay, so your choice. You need to design in such a way that you will have that thing. Okay.
Yes.
So, for example, here, let's assume that I am gonna I can take 3 routers as well. Okay, but I am just taking 2 routers in one of my config sub AS. And then these 2 routers is gonna be in one of sub AS. Now what is gonna happen here is now this sub AS is gonna be used as a eBGP neighbor. So your R1, R2 is now become eBGP neighbor in the configuration. Although for outside world, they are part of IBGP, okay, but inside they are part of EBGP. So this is how your confederation main AS you can break into sub ASs. Okay, we are having a lab of it. Okay, so we're gonna do that thing. So where you will have the you can now divide. Now your R1 are to behave like a EBGP neighbor. So if any update, you will get it via R1. That update is considered as a update from your EBGP neighbor. So there is no compulsion of sending that update to R4. Getting my point? So this is how the confederation is gonna do that thing. So anyone having any question, any doubt?
But normally, I think we are not using this approach, right? Because I think it's create complexity.
Yes. So again, it creates so the route reflector is gonna work in most of the cases. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why we not created with the confederation. Even I have never seen that in the production environment. But again, we will have an option.
Maybe we can see on the ISP level.
Yeah. ISP level can do that.
No, not even in the ISP level. I worked in a very big ISP, and even there, like they are using this route reflectors.
Mm. Because again, route reflector is having one concept which is known as nested route reflector. Okay, so your route reflector
Yes,
client
yes,
can also be the route reflector of another one. Okay, like
yes.
this. For example, these R1, R2, R3. Your R1 is a route reflector. Okay, and these are your client for this. Now, this is one of your domain. Okay, now your client can be a route reflector for other clients. Okay, like R5, R6, R7. Okay, so you can create nested route reflectors as well.
And like if we are having master route reflector and slave route reflector, then slave route reflector is the client of master route reflector, right?
Yeah. Okay, guys. So now, this is the topic that I need to take it today. Okay, just to show you how I teach. Although yesterday also most of you are present, right? So now you guys have any questions you can ask me. Okay, we are having still 15 minutes. So you can ask.
Nothing. I have only one query. Like we can cover all these things like in 3 weeks or like 4 weeks.
So
And
again,
I
what
think
I use,
each day we will have 1 hour class, right?
yeah, one to 1.5 hour. So we're gonna do basically the plan is to take 4 or 5 days for a particular protocol. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Sir, could you please tell the plain concept you told?
Yeah, I gonna tell that, no issues. Because again,
Okay,
for that
thank you, sir.
I need to show you in the lab, so do not worry about that. Okay. Any other question, guys? Anything else? Small topic or any doubt you guys are having?
No, your teaching style is very good. So I have only one concern that I told you. If everything will be clear, then it's fine. Like
So again, even if you're not able to finish in 3 weeks, do you are in hurry?
no, I'm not in a hurry.
Okay. So even if it is taking 1 more week or 2 more weeks, if you are getting a concept in a clear way, so I think that is a good deal. Okay. Because again, I
Yeah,
can
but we
finish the
will.
BGP in 1 hour,
Mm,
complete 1 hour. Okay.
yes, yes.
So it
But I will
depends.
prefer. But I will prefer like if you are having 4 weeks, for
Hmm.
all these concepts and the labs. But if you will give us one extra month for the lab practice, then it will be good because maybe due to our jobs or other things, maybe we cannot cover all the labs as well.
Okay, so that we need to talk with the backend actually. I need to talk with network journey team for that.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, I can give you like 7 or 10 days extra. I can give you. After that, I need to talk with them. Okay. And to be really frank with you guys, those who will not gonna do the lab, there is not gonna be any benefit of any course because theory is never gonna help you in long term. Okay. Any other
The
question,
timing
guys?
timing will be the same.
Yeah, timing is
Like
gonna be same 9 p.m. IST, Monday to Thursday. The class is from Monday to Thursday. Friday normally I take the off. Saturday, Sunday I'm having other weekend classes.
Every means every week.
Yeah, it is off every week.
Every week, no?
Yeah.
From Monday.
Yeah, from coming Monday.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So there is a link in the chat. If you want to know about the course fee and all that stuff, okay, there is a direct PDF schedule your course content, what we all gonna cover, everything is there on this networkjourney.com/OSPF BGP MPLS. Okay, and then there are 2 WhatsApp number with 2 email IDs. You can directly contact them and you can discuss your queries, your commercials for the course and all that stuff. Okay.
okay, sir.
Yeah, Rizwan. So we are gonna cover the labs as well, and then you also need to do. That is optional. If you don't want to do, no one is gonna punish you for that. Okay, but I recommend you guys to do the lab by yourself as well. Okay. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up for today class?
Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So thank you everyone for joining today. So there is no slot time. Yeah. So there is no slot time, Rizwan. 24/7 access you will have for labs. Okay. And no one is sharing each other. So everyone is having a different instance. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye. I hope to meet you all in
Inshallah.
our course. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.